was a very encouraging indication that we're making progress. That's great news. At the same time, you look at that Democratic debate, I had to laugh at what I saw Barack Obama do. I mean, in 1 week, he went from saying he's going to sit down, for tea with our enemies, but then he's going to bomb our allies. I mean, he's gone from Jane Fonda to Dr. Strangelove.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that in a little bit.
Let me continue. Hold on. I have more time. Let me continue. I want to make one other point, and that is, while we're waking up here in the United States and thinking about our barbecue in the afternoon and what's on TV, what baseball game is on, there are a lot of families in this country, hundreds of thousands of people who are waking up wondering whether their loved one is still alive. We have families who made a huge surge of sacrifice to support this surge, and it's time, in my view, for the people of America to show a surge of support, including our leaders in Washington, for these families and for the troops. Let's get behind them and give them everything we have, our prayers, our encouragement, our funds, anything to make sure this surge is successful, because it counts for America.
George, I'm going to let you come in. I'm going to let him finish. First,
there are other people here in the room, George. I mean, after all, I did miss votes to get here. I'm wondering whether
I'm looking at you right now. Do you differ at all from Mayor Giuliani, Governor Romney, or Senator McCain, then Senator Thompson, and Ron Paul gets the last word on this round? Go ahead, Congressman Tancredo.
There are a number of things, of course, with regard to Iraq that I think we have found some common ground on. But the reality is this, that we are in, it is absolutely true, I think, that we are in a war with radical Islam. That is the war. A battle is being fought in Iraq. Now, can we win the military battle on the ground? Yes, we can. Our guys are the best in the world, and the people that are serving there cannot be faulted in any way. One of the things, however, that I must say I am concerned about are the rules of engagement that apparently are restricting the ability of our people to do their job and to protect themselves. No one should ever go into harm's way. No president should ever send anyone in this military into harm's way and keep one arm tied behind them. These rules of engagement have got to be reviewed, and no president should ever pursue them in this way, or let people go into a battle and be actually at risk. I unveiled a statue for a guy by the name of Danny Dietz in my district, a Navy SEAL. Danny Dietz is dead because the rules of engagement did not allow them to do what they needed to do over there. That is unacceptable. In the broader picture, of course, you are absolutely right. We have to do something about the fact that there is no political or economic solution being developed by the Iraqis, and you have to push them into it. America cannot be the police force in Iraq. It cannot remove itself entirely from Iraq, but Iraq has got to take control of Iraq.
Governor Thompson, then Congressman Paul, you get the last word.
Thank you very much. I've laid out a whole plan to really win the peace in Iraq. I've laid out a plan that we have to defend and give all our resources and every single tool possible to our fighting men and women. I have been with them like a lot of the people up here have, and the finest young men and women we'll ever have in our military. But beyond that, it is not fair to America and to Americans to shoulder all of the burden, to pay for a war that's costing us $10 billion a month, that we're not funding, we're just passing it on to our children and grandchildren, not requiring the Iraqi government to stand up and vote. That's a failure of Congress and the President of the United States, because they do need to demand that that government makes a political statement and help pay for that war and help fight to win that war. Secondly, I differ with Senator Brownback. They can't even decide in Parliament in Iraq whether or not they're going to be able to take a month or 6 weeks off for summer. How would they ever decide 3 particular divisions? They've already got that country divided into 18 states that have been there since 1921. And if, in fact, you're going to elect people, why don't you elect the state leaders like we do in Iowa, like we do in Wisconsin, all over America? And those individual governments will be Shiites, Sunnis, and Kurds, and it will stop the civil war and split the oil revenue between the federal government, the state governments, and every man, woman, and child like we do in Alaska, and give those individuals the opportunity to build their country. That will make a stable Iraq.
Congressman Paul, you get the last word on this round.
I, of course, opposed the war a long time before it started. The neoconservatives promoted this war many, many years before it was started. Had nothing to do with al-Qaeda. There was no al-Qaeda in Iraq. There were no weapons of mass destruction. Just think of the weapons the Soviets had in the 60s and the 70s, and we did not have to go to nuclear war with them. There's no reason to go to war against these third world nations. At the same time, those individuals who have predicted these disastrous things to happen if we leave Iraq are the same ones who said as soon as we go in, it will just be duck soup. It'll be over in 3 months. It won't cost us anything because the oil will pay for it.
Has he forgotten about 9/11?
At the same time,
have you forgotten about 9/11?
Just a moment. At the same time, the individuals who predicted the disaster, of course, the domino theory in Vietnam, I was called to duty. I accepted that duty in the 60s. I served 5 years in the military. When we left there, it was tough. Yes, but now we trade with Vietnam. We talk to them. The presidents come to this country. We go back and forth. We invest in that country. We can achieve much more in peace than we can ever achieve in these needless, unconstitutional, undeclared wars.
Senator McCain.
Let me just say, George, all of us feel frustration, sometimes anger and sorrow over what's happened in this war. It was very badly mismanaged for nearly the first 4 years. I was one of the greatest critics. We do now have a strategy